All right, so I was watching this video and it caught my attention. This guy here is interviewing the author of the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. I believe the guy's name is Kawasaki. Might be wrong on that, but anyways, that doesn't matter. But this guy says something that's interesting. This gentleman interviewing him is asking him if Trump called on him to save the economy, how could he help him? Listen, I want you to hear this guy's response real quick.
So your answer to the long-term debt, there's no solution. You don't think there's a
No, my
solution.
solution is always the same. Pull back in. Create your own little fire team. I'm a Marine, you know. We just create a little fire team. I have my accountants, my attorneys, my bankers, I have my little team. Go smaller. Put your own team together. Don't.
I'm talking about country-wise.
What's that?
I'm talking as a country.
I'm not gonna. I can't fix that. I can fix. I can save myself.
What if Donald Trump President Trump calls you to be as a counsel? How do we get rid of this debt? Would you say I can't be part of the advisor because I don't think there's a way?
I still hunker down.
But how would you solve it for him if he wanted you as a
I
counsel?
wouldn't.
Or you wouldn't do it?
No. Why should I? I'm going to get rich when it falls down.
Did you hear what he says?
So it's
Listen to what
irrelevant
he's
to you.
saying.
So
He
you're
said,
simply looking at it from the libertarian standpoint of I'm
so he's saying that, they're going to get rich once once the market crashes. I think this is how a lot of these people, man, this is why I swear these bankers and stuff, these crashes seem to be planned. They turn around, they take all the risk with other people's monies, they reap the benefits, and don't have to pay for any of the penalties. As you know, when the banks were too big to fail, then it was the American taxpayers that bailed them out. Over in Cyprus, they had a bank buy-in. You had a bail-in where they just took your money. All right, but I think it's interesting now for those of you. Once the dinar changes, or even the Vietnam dong for that matter, because I do got some information on it. Once these things change, you should listen. I'm going to start paying more attention to what this guy says. This is not the first time I've listened to him. Um, it's very interesting that these guys would huckle down and just wait for the market to finish doing what they're doing and turn around and then get rich off of it. One of the things I talked about and I pointed out on the Cypress video was a lady said that overnight real estate lost its value, like 20 or 25% of its value overnight. That's one thing I am eyeballing. People say, once the dinar hits, are you going to buy real estate? No, I'm going to wait. I'm going to give it about a 3 to 5 year window. The reason for that is I think there's a market crash coming. I think it's a pretty big one. And if it does come, I have the ability to pick a property that I'm interested in, somewhere around a neighborhood of 20, 30, 40, maybe even as high as 50% cheaper than where it is now. I would get more bang for my buck if you get my drift. So I'm no hurry to get into the real estate market, not yet. If anything, I'm going to invest more into storage containers. Anyways, I'm sure some of you guys seen this article was going around. It's talking about China's central bank is going to inject their entire Bitcoin market cap into the economy, which is just amazing. First of all, if you just think about Bitcoin in general, that's to say that China is going to inject the entire market cap just to save its economy is actually says a lot about cryptocurrencies and where they are right now. I still feel like we're being forced over in that direction. I feel like these crashes are semi-planned. They did get spin way beyond their means, but I just think it's interesting we see these kinds of things. But anyways, the articles, I'll leave the link for this article for you to check out if you haven't seen it already, and it explains a lot. But it talks about how the virtues of decentralized tamper-proof currency with a finite supply and fixed inflation rate have been widely discussed. That was the great thing about being in the gold standard. You couldn't spend more than you had. And inflation rate was convenient, or not conveniently, but often is low. We never had to worry about inflation under the gold standard just because it kept everything in checks and balances. This article is saying that cryptocurrencies can do the same thing. The asset is becoming increasingly regarded as a hedge in times of economical adversity. China's economical outlook had already started to turn before the coronavirus outbreak, which may increase demands for Bitcoin in the region. Now, I've talked about this. We know that Bitcoin halving is coming up. If you don't know what halving is when, so you got people who mine the Bitcoins, all right? They mine the coins. So they get rewarded for doing this. Now, where Bitcoin is right now as a cryptocurrency is not high enough. Their values are nowhere high enough. They need to be much higher in order for miners to continue mining Bitcoin and it be worth mining. So I said that Bitcoin's got to go up to at least twice the amount it's at. It's at $9,600, but it's going to need to get somewhere probably closer to 18,000 in order for miners to continue mining the Bitcoins. If not, they're just going to shut down. And most of your miners, a lot of rich people are mining Bitcoin, they're in China. Do you see what I'm saying? So yeah, China is going to be really doing what they can to pump up, in my opinion, the crypto market. And we've been seeing this happen. A real steady climb in cryptocurrencies have been continuing now for some time. Is it 5 or 6 days, 7 days now? But I found it interesting because there was one days in which they were kind of teetering back in the red. All but one coin. Only one coin stayed in the green and continued to grow. XRP. Now, I was lucky and picked up a bunch of XRP when it was 13 cents. I was lucky to pick them up when they were 18 cents. So over the last few weeks, we've seen XRP jump up pretty good. It's jumped up quite a lot. As a matter of fact, somewhere around 5 cents, all right? Also, we're finally starting to see Bitcoin come around. For a second there, XRP and Ethereum were the ones making a move. It's breaking my heart, though, to see Ethereum go up so much because that's the next coin in which I want to start meeting my goal at. And at this rate, man, it's going to be really expensive. As a matter of fact, I think when I was first talking about it is around $170. It's going up. So these markets, because of the crashes that are happening around the world, if you don't jump on these markets right now, you're really shooting yourself in the foot. There's no guarantee they're not going to taper back off or have what we call a market correction, where they'll go down a little bit. But these things aren't growing, aren't being pumped and dumped. These things are growing at a real steady, slow pace, which is healthy. This is good. But I really believe this has a lot to do with the coronavirus over in China. A lot of people are scared to go out. A lot of people can't run out to their ATM machines to do what they need to do. So I think they're using a lot of the cryptocurrencies to get what they need shipped to them, all right? But ever since the coronavirus outbreak, we've been seeing a very steady climb in the values of cryptocurrencies. And we know that markets are crashing all around the world. We see this. So right now, people seem to be turning towards cryptocurrencies, or I should say we're being forced towards cryptocurrencies. I know if you watch the Denarian's videos, he's done plenty of videos when they're talking about a CD crypto. So you know what I mean? A CDDC. There you go. I'll get it out. But anyways, a centralized crypto dollar is what it is. We've shown you videos that all central banks, the IMF told all central banks to start developing their own, what we call stable coin, all right? So each country is going to have their own stable coin. So there's a movement happening. There are tons of cryptocurrencies out there. Believe me, this is not going to stay this way. Eventually, what's going to happen is they're going to start tapering off. There's going to be some kind of regulations that prevent this many coins out there. It's just too confusing to people who are not used to or have not been exposed yet to the cryptocurrency world. I tend to stick around the most popular ones. I eyeball Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. And I know XLM is another one, but its growth has been so disappointing, so disappointing. But anyways, the market is moving pretty good right now. It's still not too late to jump in on this. XRP is around 27 cents. It actually got up to 40 something cents during the summertime. But so yeah, it goes up and down just like stock. But right now, it's having a really healthy growth. We just seen, the fact that, was it 92? So Bitcoin was $9,200 this morning. We seen a $400 jump. It broke through the $9,600 level that a lot of people talk about. So once it breaks through, we usually start to see another healthy climb. As for XRP, I think their breakthrough level is 31 cents. It's like a hard stop somewhere around there. What happens is these coins tend to get to a certain level and then you see mass sell-offs and it causes the values to drop, You get that from a lot of pumping and dumping, but these have been maintaining now for quite some time, which is impressive. Okay, so now to move over to the Vietnam Dung. We know that a while back, sometime in 2019, about halfway through, the Treasury under Donald Trump had labeled the Vietnam Dung as a currency manipulator along with China. People keep saying, do we know what the criterias are? Here are the three criterias to label a foreign exchange manipulator. So the criteria: major trading partner coverage. Okay, so the benchmark: total bilateral goods trade, imports plus exports. The threshold is 40 billion. All right, a significant bilateral trade surplus with the United States. Goods supply with the United States around 20 billion. Material current account surplus. Current account balance cannot be 2% of that country's GDP. Okay, so you can see what the criteria are here. Okay, but the reason why I bring this up, and let me just come down here because you can see right here, it tells you what happened. So Vietnam was at risk of being labeled a currency manipulator. If you come down here, these are, the red is where they are hitting the criteria or violating the criteria that were set. You can see there's only one country that has everything in red. So what does this mean? This means that, I said this many times that, you're not going to see the value of the Vietnam Dung change at all until after the China deal. I did say that, but and the China deal has happened. And the big part of the phase one China deal is, China is not allowed to manipulate their currency any longer. We know that they've opened their banks to be examined. And so the value of the yuan is being determined. Nothing is going to happen to the Vietnam Dong until China changes their currency. Once they change their currency, I think you're going to start to see a domino effect, but including and especially Vietnam, who is violating their criteria all the way across the board here. Okay? So I told people that Trump, and I said this several months ago on the other channel, Trump is working with the World Trade Organization, and they're going to be implementing new policies on the World Trade Organization as well as within our own Treasury. That's going to be very strict, and they're going to monitor closely other countries to make sure that they do not manipulate their currencies and really do things to affect trade to benefit themselves through currency manipulation. Well, during the Davos meeting, I don't know if you caught this, but the gentleman who is the president of the WTO told the world that him and Trump were working together on several policy ideas. So that was the truth. I mean, I told you this months ago, and now that guy announced it. But this article came out not that long ago. Let's see here. This was just in February the 3rd. It was a couple days ago. U.S. finalizes rule to slap duties on countries that undervalue the currency. I'm going to leave this link in here for you to go ahead and read. But it goes on and talks about additional types of penalties. Other ways in which, not just tariffs, but other ways they're going to penalize other countries for manipulating their currency. So this, really what this is going to do, it's going to cause a lot of these people to just straighten up. All right, you can't get away with manipulating your currency anymore. There's some really stiff penalties in here. I encourage you to read this. It's really interesting about what they have going on. All right. Having said that, where I'm going with all this is this. People are talking about, is the Vietnam Dung ever going to change in value? Yes, of course it is. If it's being manipulated, a currency manipulator, and these new rules are coming out, well, the last thing, especially after the most recent boom that Vietnam's been going through, the last thing they need is to be, on Trump's bad side, and get labeled a currency manipulator and get smacked with tariffs. In addition to that, get sanctions. They don't want this kind of stuff to happen to them. So they're going to have to increase the value of their currency. And, people are like, well, how much do you think it is? Well, to be quite honest with you, I think I think on the low side was 42 cents is where it should be. That's not going to happen. I think that would affect the economy of Vietnam, bigly, as Trump would put it. I think we're going to see somewhere around a 4 to 5 cent is where we're going to see it. Okay. So the 4 to 5 cent would be the exchange rate. I know for a lot of us, that'd be pretty nice. Some of us got a lot of Vietnam dong. Me, I don't hold a whole lot of it. So I still take it though, because that'll help me pay a whole lot of bills. But I just wanted to kind of cover this quickly. There are some steps being taken that are, in my opinion, just going to, yeah, Nate, I said it, in my opinion, that are going to, force the value of the Vietnam dong to go up here really soon. I think you're going to see this happen within this year. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of changes happen. We all know that Trump got acquitted of his, both the charges on his stupid hoax of a impeachment. And don't be surprised if you don't see him try it again. Don't be surprised if you don't see the House impeach Trump a second time, just for the sole purpose of saying he's impeached. All right. But Trump, there's no doubt about it. He's going to get reelected. There's nothing going to stop him outside the grace of God. And if that's the case, you're going to see a lot of these countries really fall into line. All right. So especially this next year, 2020, in fear of having to deal with Trump after re-election, they'd rather get on his good side now. So people that are holding the Vietnam dong, smile, be happy. I really think this is going to happen here really soon, sometime within 2020. Okay, so if you're going to ask me when, I don't know when. All right, they're just sometime within 2020. These people don't want to get smacked with sanctions and tariffs. All right. So, and if the final rules are just being implemented, then it's not going to take long to shortly after that, these countries start doing what they can to avoid getting hit with these penalties. All right. Anyways, I just wanted to share that with you. I am going to leave the articles in there for you to go ahead and read and go through. I just thought you'd be interested in knowing that. And also just take a look at the crypto market. It is moving pretty good. If you're not into cryptocurrencies, you can see some of these don't cost very much. Like I said, if you want to own Bitcoin, you don't have to buy a full Bitcoin at one time if you can't afford it. If you don't got $9,600 to buy a full Bitcoin, you don't have to. You could buy fractionals. In other words, if you only got $50 to put down a Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin for $50. You'll have $50 worth of Bitcoin. They're done in fractionals, all right? So you can own pieces of them, and eventually, as you get to this mark and you pass it, you own one Bitcoin plus a fractional, and you just keep going and adding to your coin total. Bitcoin, I don't have a lot of faith in Bitcoin, to be honest with you. I think that's about the end of its lifespan here pretty soon. Having in May is going to tell us everything we need to know about the future of Bitcoin. Either they're going to increase the rate or the value of the Bitcoin to where it needs to be to continue being mined, which is around $18,000, which we all know will force the other crypto. Well, it won't force it, but the other ones will all follow quickly behind Bitcoin. Bitcoin has a tendency to pull the other ones up. Look at that. As soon as I say that, they drop into the red. Oh, good Lord. No, it's only a small fraction. But nonetheless, right now is the time. I think Bitcoin is going to come through in the clutches here. I think you're going to see a pretty sturdy rise within the next few months. The halving is in May. We're already in February. So this would be a good time to buy some of these lower coins. If you can't afford a whole lot, you could buy XLM right here for, almost 7 cents to 6 cents. If you got like $10, why go have at it? You could pick up quite a few of them. The point is, if you just keep adding to your total, eventually what will happen is you'll start accumulating a lot of these coins. Get them while they're cheaper before they get too high. They're going to make their move. They have to make their move. If we don't start seeing a climb in Bitcoin, especially with May coming up, then I think that's about the end of Bitcoin. I think you're going to see, unfortunately, the coin come crashing down. But we also know that Ethereum is the step 2 of Bitcoin. I anticipate it starting to see a climb as well. Anyways, I just thought I would share that with you. Please leave your thumbs up if you like it, and subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.